Welcome back to Marriage or Hell No. Happy Wednesday out there. I know you guys are getting over the hump, but I have a story here for you guys today that I managed to come across, and I want to be able to share it here with the community. It's about a gentleman who finds himself at his wits' end with his wife. He's been dealing with some issues with his wife, and he's just not happy. He's feeling stressed out. And I thought to bring this to the community to see what you guys have to say on the matter. But before we get going, I want to say, as much as always, thank you guys for all the support. If you're new to the channel and you're liking the content that you're going to get here today, please consider subscribing to the channel, join us on our journey, but also like the video, share the video, and then most importantly, get at me there in the comments because I really want to know you guys' feedback on what you guys would do if you were in this particular guy's situation. So without further ado, we're going to get into this story. And I really like doing these stories because they're really showing you what a lot of men are really dealing with out here, dealing with some of these women that just, I don't even know what to say anymore. You could call them modern women, entitled women, but this woman, as you're going to see, is just plain lazy, in my opinion. But without further ado, let's get into the story. I feel like my wife expects things of me that I can't do. I've tried to express that and she can't accept it. Married a long time, two elementary school kids. I have a demanding professional job. She teaches and has a terrible commute. I do a lot around the house with the kids. Most of the activity driving, bedtime every night, dishes, kitchen cleanup every night, trash, recycling, paying bills every morning, making the kids breakfast, lunch, and even taking them to the bus. And usually at least half of the laundry on the weekend. She cooks and does a lot of the household organizing and management stuff. We have a once a week cleaning person, so neither of us do hardcore house cleaning. So as you can see, this man is really up against it. He's married to this woman. He doesn't really state how long he's been married to her, but they have two elementary school kids. And we know sometimes as men is that, bro, once they get that ring and then they get the kids, essentially they got the bag in that case. And that sounds a little bleak for some people out there, but this is a situation that a lot of men are dealing with. But it sounds like he's doing everything that he needs to do. But let's keep going. I feel like she expects a level of household function that I can't live up to. For instance, this weekend she had an event all day Saturday and was exhausted Friday night. I cooked dinner, which is usually her thing, started the laundry, usually shared, got the kids to bed, usually me. I did all of the clothing laundry Friday night, but didn't get to the sheets. She insists I told her I'll do the laundry, and she took that to mean I'll get 100% of the laundry done myself. I thought I had told her I'll start the laundry. Either way, I got 3 loads done. All of our clothing, all of the kids' clothing, everything sorted and folded, and didn't even get to the sheets. The rest of the weekend was insanely busy. I was making breakfast, lunch, snacks, doing dishes, taking the kids to activities, and doing work for my job most of my spare time in between. So as you can see, this man is doing a lot of the responsibility around the house as far as domesticated responsibilities in the house. And some guys do that. I understand that because most of you guys now are really programmed to know how to take care of yourselves really in the environment. So it sounds like this guy comes from an environment to where he's used to doing that, but more so than that, he's trying to do the right thing for his kids and make sure things are getting done around the house. Now, earlier in the other paragraph, he mentioned that she does the cooking and a lot of the household organizing and management stuff. I don't know what the hell that means because it doesn't sound like she's doing much other than really letting him take care of everything. But let's just keep going because the story gets more interesting. Sunday night, she saw that the sheets weren't done and basically scolded me about it. She asked me, but in a harsh, critical tone, as she tends to do. She hadn't thought to ask any earlier. She later said that what she was upset about was not that I didn't do it, but I didn't tell her. But it doesn't really matter. I didn't remember the sheets. If I had remembered, obviously, I would have either have done them or told her that I didn't do it. But the weekend was insanely busy and I didn't remember. So, as you can see, he's setting up patterns to where he's basically communicating to her in a manner to have her do certain things and laying down instructions. But let's be honest about something, fellas. If you're married to a woman and this is the woman that you're dealing with, you guys got kids and all that type of stuff. Why do you need to remind her to do household chores or duties that need to be done around the house? She has eyes just like you, but I think that he's setting himself up for a problematic situation because he's just taking advantage. He's basically doing all the work and she is doing absolutely nothing. And what it looks like she's doing is she's basically taking advantage of him, having her feet up, and he's just doing everything, but she's got it on easy street. But let's keep going. We have extra sheets. It's really big, no big deal for the sheets to go unwashed for 1 week. But in any case, this blew up into a fight. I got really angry that I had worked so hard all weekend to take the burden off of her and make sure that she got rest and could do her event. And it felt like I was getting slapped in the face. I yelled. I eventually started mocking her demand when she wouldn't let it go. I pointed out that there was a sink full of dishes and maybe she should communicate to me that she didn't have the time to do them, or maybe it was actually just obvious that there are dishes and that they need to be done and she could either do them or ask me. Just like it's obvious the same sheets are still on the bed, I regret the way I reacted, but I also have limits of what I can take. So, as you can see, this man is just starting to feel really, really frustrated in the whole situation because he feels like he's being taken advantage of, but he's not communicating to his wife in a way to say, look, this is a partnership or this is shared responsibility, or he didn't even lay out ground rules of what should be happening. Now, just like a good husband, he's trying to take stuff off of her plate, but yet has to communicate to her that there's a sink full of dishes and either he needs to do them or she needs to. He shouldn't even be a part of that process because what she is slowly starting to do is just kind of grind the screw into him and make sure that he's doing everything. A lot of times you see this when you get with a woman, everything's going good. And then once you get married to her, she's got the kids and everything. She basically wants you to go into the relationship doing all of the things that you're supposed to do. Be the provider, be the protector. He's even looking after the kids, he's paying all the bills. And then she has an event, but he communicated that she was a teacher, but yet she can't even do the dishes after the event. So you could see this man is just getting fleeced, in my opinion. I guess to try to understand her side, she felt stressed out by the fact that the sheets weren't done, and she likes to know that things are getting done. She needs organization and anxiety thing, perhaps, but I feel that she is expecting a level of functioning that is impossible for our lives, at least not for me. The kids had clothing, we had clothing, the sheets could wait. That wasn't okay with her. It became a fight. We kept arguing about it in Kim, excuse me, sometimes I get choked up here. We kept arguing about it this morning. I was angry last night, but this morning I was much calmer and I really tried to refocus away from anger towards what I needed and didn't yell on the phone. So obviously he's having a phone conversation with her, but he looked like he calmed down. I tried to tell her I just don't feel like I can do what she's asking me to do, that I'm overstretched. I can't remember everything, but I need a teammate attitude from her, i.e., oh, I see that the sheets are still on the bed. Okay, I must be overstretched. I'll ask him if he has time to do it or not. I'll just do them and let it go. I told her I was stretched to my limits and that I just can't promise that I'll remember to do specific things or specifically to tell her that the sheets didn't get done. I don't feel like she was hearing me. She told me that she was going to do all the housework herself next weekend and skip the concert we planned to go for my birthday. Oh man, now she's being condescending and a little bit trifling when you ask her to do something. So basically, she's just full of a little spite here, in my opinion. I know that's your wife, so I'm not going to get into that. But he later goes on to say that I told her that this was passive aggressive and it's obviously not what I am asking from her. Eventually, whatever happens in our arguments, she often tells me that I am being toxic to her. There goes that word again. So you know it's already looking like a troubling sign. That I am making it that she couldn't function at work, that I am making her cry. I really don't know what I was doing this morning that would fit that description. I was really trying to tell her how I felt and what I could and couldn't handle. I didn't insult her. I didn't criticize her. I just told her I wasn't sure I can give the level of functioning she is asking for. I told her I was doing my best to manage as much as I possibly could with work, the house, and the kids. So obviously, this man is stretched. He has absolutely no more bandwidth, but he's sitting up there communicating to a woman, or his wife in this case, which he is absolutely taking care of everything. Now, he doesn't talk about what he does for a living, but he did mention paying the bills, and she's a teacher. So I'm thinking that he probably makes more money than her. But here he is going out of his way to do things for the kids. And naturally, as the woman, she should be nurturing, caring enough to at least help her kids be in the best position. That could be doing homework, that could be spending time with the kids, cleaning up after the household, doing household chores. I get that there's shared responsibility, but she should have a little bit more sense of urgency when it comes to her kids and not feel like he's doing everything. So that's the reason why he's stretched. And obviously, he's getting frustrated. I eventually just apologized because at some point, I feel like I am just banging my head against the wall. No, I am contributing to the fights, and I know I get too angry, but I feel like there is a disconnect between what she is describing to me. A situation where I am some aggressive, toxic, angry jerk, and what I am perceiving where she is aggressive and angry towards me, blames me for things unreasonably, and almost incapable of listening when I try to tell her how I feel or what I need from her. In this case, just some understanding and some slack. I wasn't asking her to do more housework. I was asking her to have a nicer, more forgiving, helpful attitude towards me. I feel like she gets fragile, defensive, and I can't hear anything about her half of the problem. So I wind up just apologizing to make it go away after trying in vain to get her to see my side. She's never going to see your side, boss. I'm just going to be honest to you, because you're allowing this behavior to keep going on. And more than likely, there were signs before you guys got married that she was doing some of these things. But a lot of times, as guys, we just try to say, you know what, we don't want to argue with the woman that we're dating because we know that that might upset her, and we really don't want to have to deal with that. Or maybe he's just been programmed to believe happy wife, happy life. But as you can see, he's just at his wits' end with her after he's communicated with her. Then she gets passive aggressive, calls him aggressive, toxic, and all this other stuff, acting like he's making her feel some kind of way, where she's the one making him feel some kind of way. Not really sure what to do. I feel like the marriage is in danger at this point. It's hurting the kids, and it's sad because when we aren't fighting, we enjoy each other's company, and I still love her. But I lose my ability to see her and to see that when she gets like this, because it feels like hell. Bro, the situation you described seems like hell. And I don't even know how you deal with it, but I know that you love her, you have kids with her, and you want to do the right thing for your kids. You're being an absolute perfect man to her, but it seems like I mentioned before, she's just taking advantage, and she really doesn't care about how you feel. So at the end of the day, any type of woman starts talking about like that, bruh, I'm thinking, bruh, come on, knock it off. I'm doing everything I need to do here, but it sounds to me like you're just capping. But he then goes on. I didn't really capture that, but I'm gonna read it to you guys because he wanted to give an update. So she goes, well, sorry, he goes, she called me from work to say that I am the problem in her life and that she can't function at work. I don't know how to respond to that. I really don't want to be someone's problem in life, but I also don't know what I did that was so terrible this morning, other than speak up for myself and point out that she has a role in our problems and that I have certain needs and requests from her, mostly understanding and forgiveness. It makes me want to throw in the towel. And I don't know, bro. Like, I just really don't know what to do. And I really feel bad for this man because more than likely, we see a lot of guys like this who, they're married. They don't want to run the risk of possibly giving up 50% of their assets or not being able to see their kids. And we know that the way the family court structure is set up in the United States, it's not beneficial for men. But he's trying to rock it out with her. You know that his wife, and he still loves her, but she is a pain in his living, you know what, bro. And at that point, there's nothing this man can do. But in order to get his self dignity back, he's going to have to be a little bit more letting her know and setting some ground rules. I don't know how he's going to do about that, but I don't know how he's going to go about doing that. But I know what I would do, but I'm not going to get into that. So let's read some comments. You are not the problem. The problem is her making mountains over molehills. If my husband yelled at me every time there was unwashed laundry in the laundry room, he would devote his whole life to yelling at me. What she is yelling, or what she is asking you, is ridiculous. If I were you, I would go for a trial separation, joint custody, and counseling. I'm betting she will decide life is easier with you and harder and not worth the hassle of doing all herself when she has to clean the kitchen, get the kids fed, and lunch and school half of the time on her own. You are not the problem. She's her own problem. And like I said, this comes from a woman, and I thought that this was absolutely spot on. So you can see even certain women are not even putting up with this type of foolishness. This comment probably comes from somebody from the UK. You can tell by the way that they write their words out. It's always a little bit different than us over here. Talk after you sure what you want. Your kids see this behavior as normal and will model their lives after yours. Do you want them to go through this? If your kid came to you with this story, what would your advice be? You know what you must be willing to do. Sorry. And at the end of the day, fellas, I think the comment is very important because it's so unfortunate that this guy is at his wits' end. He's been trying to communicate with her, but the one thing that he has to do more so than anything is simply this: let her know that she's been put on notice. And I know that that's really hard to do because you love your wife, you love your kids, you love the family that you built. But when she is sit up there spitting in your face, blaming you for everything, and you are paying bills, handling all the stuff with the kids to where you can't even come to her and ask her to even take care of her load, bro, it's about time you walk away. And that's really the only thing you can do as a man. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. It's really interesting and I really like doing these, but most importantly, I want to know what you guys think in the comments. So let me know, what would you guys do if you guys were in this man's shoes? I know what I would do.